Hi, Craftastic. I'm good. You? Hope everyone can hear me. Okay. Oh, good. I'm just munching at the moment as well. I don't know if SKADI's going to turn up or not. I'm supposed to be. Yeah. Supposed to be having Scotty, but I don't know if she's going to turn up or not. If not, are you going to come up? Yeah, you can come up if you want. Well, she's meant to be on about. She's supposed to be on now, but I don't know where she is. I can't get hold of her by email. I'm useless at it as well. How's you? What painting is in? Ah, hang on a minute, Sky. Let me just post the link a minute again. There you go, Sky. No, she's aircraftastic. Oh, I wish I was a big pro. 2 seconds and I'll just add the old devil.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry I'm a little late. I was just getting out of the shower because my friend took forever to leave earlier. So I had to finally just be like, well, I got things to do.
Now I've got images of you in the shower now. Yeah,
uh,
thanks for coming up. Anyway,
so it's so great to be here.
so how do you want to do it? Do you want to do it like a Q&A or do you want to just explain your story?
Q&A would probably be better because I get like tongue tied sometimes when I try to explain stuff. So, you know,
Uh,
um, I don't know. What do you know like about my history and stuff. Like,
I know nothing about your history apart from I used to go in Lycans and I used to see you on there occasionally.
mhm,
And then I heard there was a big bust up
yeah,
around the time of Mrs. Portland and who's the other lass? Is it Sarah?
mhm. Drama After Dark, Sarah.
That's it. Yeah. And
Mhm,
then that's all I know. And then recently you split from that side, you see. So
mhm. Yeah, it's been a few months, a couple months. Um, okay, so it started off. I was just like a chatter, right? I'd
mhm.
found this community. I'm not even sure how I found him, other than um, my dad was real sick. My mom had just passed away, and my dad got real sick after that. And I took care of both of them. Um, so we were at the hospital one night, and it was like real late at night, and I was on Facebook, and there was a video that popped up about Corey Feldman of all people being a creep. So I clicked on it, and it took me to YouTube. Well, the nurse had come in, and Dad started throwing a fit because he wouldn't let anyone mess with him but me. So I had to I just set my phone down and went to take care of him. And when I came back, that video had went off, and it had went to like one of JB Gunner, and I was like, "What is this?" Like I had never seen the format of, you know, like someone going live streaming and having a chat and all that. And sorry, that was my phone ringing. Um, it was just crazy to me that was a thing. Um, and then after that video went off, it went to one of Lycans, and I don't know how I ended up sticking around, but I did. Maybe because I'm gonna be honest. In the beginning, I was laughing at him because I thought, is this dude for real? Is there really men out there who think this way? So it was kind of like when you drive by a wreck and it's like you don't want to look, but you look.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was kind of like that. But it felt like a safe distance because it was just like on my phone, like I was just saying things like on the phone and stuff in a chat that no one really knew me or who I really was. So it felt like easy, like almost not real, sort of. But yeah, and
So when you came across the I'm just going to call him flipping Lycra
mhm,
because he's an ass. But
mhm.
when you came across Lycan, did you come across other creators as well in the chats, or was it just Lycan first and then?
Yeah, oh yeah, the whole drama sphere. Um, I was watching a little bit of everybody. Like Brutally Lauren, like I used to go in hers, but she was just such a bad content creator. Like I would get bored really easy in her streams because it would just be derailed real easy. And like everyone would be talking over each other, you couldn't understand, and it would give me a headache. So I just quit going to hers. Um, yeah, um,
Yeah,
JB Gunner is gross. Yeah, he's pretty gross. I didn't watch him very long, and I was just so grossed out. I just couldn't watch him
I,
anymore.
I,
He's
I mean, I've heard of Lauren,
yeah,
but I've never heard of JB Gunner. I've probably seen people in different chats mention him,
yeah,
and
he's
that's about
gross.
it.
He's gross. So yeah, like a woman beater, misogynist, just a really gross man. But and
Ah,
I don't know why it was just kind of like going to, like back in the day when you could go watch the freak show at the circus and pay your quarter and go in and see, like all these oddities and stuff. And yeah, that's what it was. It was, and then I'm not sure how I even got to where I was going on panels because I would never even go on panels. And then it was after my dad passed. I think I just had so much time on my hands,
yeah.
uh, you know, and I needed something to fill that void. And well, I don't know. I'm not sure. And I ask myself that all the time, like, how did you even get involved with these people? Because I'm so different from how he is and like some of the people that hang out with him. But it was just, I don't know. And it was like I wasn't really a member really for a long time. I was just kind of like someone that showed up once in a while and laughed at everybody because I trolled him for years. Like I was one of his biggest trolls for a long time because I would like I would make fun of him for like the only dating women online and it never working out and how his nudes were constantly being released which with every chick that he got with. And I mean, unless you've got like an impressive package, you probably shouldn't be sharing stuff around like that, especially when you know like it's gonna get out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I'd make fun of him for it, and I trolled him for a long time.
So
So
what?
go
So
ahead.
you met Lycan first. I mean, was he a decent when you first knew him? Was he a decent content creator, or was he just a bit of an arse?
Well, the thing I think what really made me like him was he didn't just do drama. Because honestly, like when he would do his Eli restreams, I wouldn't even go in there because I didn't like that content. I thought it was gross. I was like, why are you guys? I mean, making it a point to harass this dude over and over and over again. Like I never did get that. But he would do other content back then. Like he would do like content on movies, like where we'd go over movies and stuff like trailers that were coming up and discuss things and like comic books and graphic art. And I mean, it wasn't all the drama back then, you know? So I was more of a fan of his channels that weren't drama. And those were the ones that I would participate in the most. But then after he got with Sarah, it was like all that fell to the wayside and he just focused solely on drama because that's all she wanted him to focus on. So,
But is that what I mean? Is that what he told you, or is it what Sarah
well,
mentioned?
it's just no, it's kind of an observation, I guess. Like what I saw happen. I'm not sure if he even realized how it went about because once they got together, everyone in the old community was pretty much done with him. And the ones that weren't done, she would find a way to start arguments and fights with them until he would make them go. You know what I mean? Like he used to have a mod, Chrissy's Corner, and she was one of the sweetest women ever. And she was just pro liking. I mean, that woman modded his chat better than Nightbot did. And she didn't like Sarah. Well, none of us really liked Sarah because she was obnoxious and shady and always doing stuff behind the scenes, you know? And yeah, he got rid of Chrissy, who was his faithful, faithful friend, because of sharing a link to someone else of a video that had been shared in his server on Discord. And I should have left then. That's when I should have left because Chrissy was a good person and that was my friend. And I mean, I did take up for her at the time and I left and didn't come back for a long time, but I never should have gone back because it was just the writing was on the wall right then. And I'm not sure why it took me so long to see it.
So at this time, I mean, are you mixing with other creators like Save Robbie and Mrs. P
I didn't
and
really ever have much to do with Save Robbie because the first time I was introduced to him was in on Brutally Lauren's channel doing like a recovery stream,
hmm.
and I just wasn't like really impressed much, like I don't know, I just didn't care for his content. And then Mrs. P, I mean, I know who she is and I know like the backstory and all that, but I try to I try to steer clear of getting involved in that controversy because it seems like there's a lot of controversy surrounding her. And I have enough of my own controversy right now with them, with Sarah. I mean, because people don't understand how shady Sarah and Lycan truly are.
Because
But
were they some form of couple at a certain
mhm,
time, or
yeah, yeah, they were. Um, well, I'll tell you what. When we found out they were no longer a couple, was when he started seeing Granny's watching, and they started flirting together, and all of us were just like, "What? What's going on here?" So up until the moment that he started talking to Jess, they were a couple. And he tries to say now that they were never anything but friends. That's not the case. Truly, that is not the case. They were definitely a couple. And the way that whole thing went down, like I actually did feel bad for Sarah because he just kind of threw her away.
but wasn't there a lass called Sammy G as well? I think it was after Sarah.
Oh
This
yeah, yeah. It went Sarah, Jess, then Sammy, and then Tiffany. So
and no, Tiffany's the lass that. Now, if I get this right, she accidentally killed somebody in a driving accident. Am I right? Is that the
yes,
same one?
mhm,
But she also turned around and said he wasn't human because he was an illegal immigrant.
yes,
Right.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah, I've never spoken to her, but I know she's a nasty
Oh,
little sort.
she,
I mean, anyone that comes out with that sort of thing can.
mhm,
In fact,
yeah,
she was on a live with him. Oh, it must have been about 3 weeks ago, and she said, "Oh, I wish everyone could forget it because I'm trying to."
yeah.
Yeah.
But she's the one that brought it up, isn't she? Like, I don't know. Yeah,
I d-
Jill. Sarah is Drama After Dark, and she used to be Mrs. Lycan Legion. Mrs. Lycan Theory is what it was, actually.
so
And
could you have been the
go ahead.
next Mrs. Lycan?
Oh, no. No. Like in that stream I shared this morning from May, like he was like, "So are you going to be the new Mrs. Lycan?" I was like, no. No, no, not happening. It was never romantic ever once between me and him. Like, never could it ever be because I like men, I don't want a little boy who's pretending to be a man. And that's how I see him and that's how I always saw him. Even when we were friends, I didn't consider him a man, if you get what I mean. Like
Yeah.
I saw him as a kid and like a kid who needed to be taught manners and how to treat women, and I think that's kind of why I stuck around as long as I did because I was like, let me educate this fool. Like you cannot talk to ladies like that. Like, but it didn't work and it just got worse and worse and worse. And
So I mean, he actually proposed to you in that stream, didn't he? That you showed this morning
yeah,
from
you heard
May.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, was he actually serious or was
Oh
he
no,
just?
I'm sure he was joking, but I think if I would have been, if what that was more than romantic, that was him wanting to put his ownership paper on me. That was wanting him to be able to claim me and my channel as part of his kingdom, you know?
Uh,
So he wanted to put his name on me so that everyone would know I belong to him, which came off as really odd to me. That was one of the big red flags that made me kind of take a step back and think, what are his intentions? And I think if I would have been like, okay, yeah, sure, he would have absolutely wanted me to change my channel name to the new Mrs. Lycan. But I that would have never happened, and he should have known that because I don't even no. And I mean, like even someone in the chat was like, "Well, maybe she'll let you be Mr. Scotty," because like it was that was so out of the realm of possibility. But yeah, there for a minute, it was like he was acting really weird toward me, like he wanted complete possession of me, and didn't want anybody else to be able to be on my panel or talk to me or anything. And I'm like, what is going on with you? Why? I mean, I just gotten away from a marriage of 10 years. And you know what I mean? Like, had just started becoming independent again. And I have this kid trying to control me, what I say and what I do and where I go. And it got old really quick, really quick.
Yeah, I was going to just say to the guys in the chat,
Mhm.
3 weeks today, and I still haven't had a cigarette.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
I thought I'd let them know because it's with the help of just Sagacious that's been helping me as well get the off the cigarettes.
Mhm.
But so I mean, because you got children as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, I imagine it's lucky you didn't go into save Robbie's because apparently, from what the rumours are,
Mhm.
he is a pedo apologist, and I
Hmm.
mean he is really a nasty piece of work because he's been in one of his lives he was basically begging Country Joe, for example, he was trying to taunt her to you know go for him again, and he tries to wind up like Joe as well.
Yeah.
But but when was the actual? When did you finally say "fuck this"? I'm walking away from.
Well, it was shortly after the stream where he totally derailed my stream. It was when Natasha was up there. It was Natasha, me, and Alicia, and
Ah,
everything was everything. And I just reshared that I think yesterday.
yeah.
Um, and he got up there and see he was one of the he was on my channel on my StreamYards. So he had gotten in there that night and just jumped on the panel himself, and I couldn't take him down because he was part of my StreamYard. Um, and then not only did he derail my chat, um, he rage quit, and then he was timing out my mods for being like, "Hey, what are you doing? That's so rude. Don't do that to her." And that was taking it way too far. Um, and there had been other incidents before that, like the one I shared this morning. That was right after he flipped out and had threatened to um, go shoot Dorothy in the face.
Oh
You
yes,
guys
yeah, I
remember
remember
that
that. Yeah.
stream? Okay, you know what that was? It was because I had went on her panel and he
Ah,
was mad. Like you heard in that live that I shared again this morning, he was like, "Well, she doesn't deserve you. You're too good for her. You don't you like what? What are you talking about? What what is wrong with you? That had absolutely nothing to do with you. You know, it was because drama after dark Sarah had went up on Dorothy's like a few days before that and had straight dogged me because she and I had finally had it out. And I wanted to defend myself. Well, how am I going to defend myself if I don't go to the same place where she was talking crap about me so that the same audience would see my rebuttal is the way I was looking at it, you know?
yeah.
And he just lost his mind that night. You guys, it was bad. I mean, it was, when I heard what he said in that stream about like that level of anger, that was a big red flag too. I was like, this is not normal. You know, I don't go around threatening people's lives because one of my friends went up on their panel.
So ever since then,
Mhm.
it
Um,
sounds like he wanted to. If he had got you in his clutches, he would
mhm.
have wanted to control you all the time.
Oh yeah, it was bad. Um, it was really bad. It was I mean, I would liken it to an abusive marriage almost. Um, even though it wasn't romantic, it was never romantic. But it was like he wanted to control me like I was his possession. And the more I would pull away from him and want to stand on my own 2 feet and do what I wanted to do and go where I mean, I'm a grown woman. I should be able to go in anybody's chat that I want to. And just because he doesn't get along with someone shouldn't mean that I have to go and attack them. And, like I should have been able to make up my mind on my own, as the way I looked at it. And I didn't see anything wrong with that. If I'm your friend and you get along with, let's see, Joe, and I don't, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be your friend anymore, or that I'm going to make demands on you to stop being friends with Joe because I don't like him. Like it was really weird.
So since you left his channel and have
Hmm.
tried to steer clear of him, what's been going on?
Well, at first, um, what reading what Jill wrote. Did you ever support NC? Did LL either? You support Dot? No judgments. Did you ever meet? We had constant contact outside of YouTube. We were always on the phone together. Um, I haven't really supported Dorothy or NC. Like I don't. That's the whole thing of wanting to get away from him. Was I wanted to be able to just do what I wanted to do and not have to be team this person or team that person, sort of. Um, I just wanted to be able to be Team Scotty, if that makes sense. You know,
Yeah,
I judge people based on how they treat me, or how I see them treat others. So, and to be honest with you guys, since I broke from him and Sarah have been nonstop coming at me behind the scenes and in my real life, to the point where I haven't even really been able to pay attention to too many other creators and the issues because I'm constantly dealing with stuff from them. That's why it's like I'll go quiet for a while in the hopes that they'll leave me alone, and then it doesn't stop, and then I have to come back. And I know people may think that I'm just like bipolar or something, but what you're not seeing is this constant barrage of harassment behind the scenes that I get daily, you know?
when when you say behind the scenes, are you talking about emails or
Yeah,
tele-
emails, um, text messages, um,
and and
just
are the emails and text messages are they sort of like a combination of things like threats and
uh-huh, yeah. Or they're very good at making veiled threats. Um, like especially like and I've released so much stuff and I think people just don't. I need to do it. I need to get like my thoughts gathered and try to release it in a way that it tells the proper story of how things happened. Because
yeah,
I tried when I first told him, listen, I can't do this anymore. Like I just want to do my own thing. You go do your own thing. I'll go do my own thing. We had gotten into it bad one night, and like I went off, he went off on me. It was bad. But then he was still trying like the control thing. So that's when I had done my stream. Like I'm done taking his abuse, and all of his enemies, as he puts it, were in my stream, supporting me. Um, but that was just me basically like drawing a line. I had to because it was like he wanted to to make up with me and just like not hate each other. But it was like then that was Jamie, that still wanted to be my friend and wanted to fix things. But then Lycan showed up and just started making demands on me again. And I know that but it's like he has two different personalities, you guys. Um, I was friends with Jamie, but Lycan, I was never friends with him. You know, um, it's weird. It's so weird. Um, but yeah, it's like he's two different people, and he doesn't even like Lycan. If you want to know the truth, and he's told me that many times. And he hates the content he's doing. This isn't what he wanted to do. He wanted to come on here and do art stuff, and talk about movies and comic books and uh, he ended up in these drama communities and he hates it. Like, he
Well,
hates it.
originally he was doing cartoons because he did a good one with who was it, Joe and Country Joe and
Mhm.
Dorothy.
Yeah.
That was absolutely brilliant. But then, and he had a good crowd in watching him at the time. He had over, I think it was 170, maybe 200 then.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and
then
it's
for some
yeah.
reason he went straight into the drama, but I don't know whether or not somebody attacked him first and then he went after them and it all blew out of control.
Well, what happened, I know how he first came into this community. It was because of RJ Sandifer. Do you know who that is?
No idea. I mean,
Okay.
some of the guys might know, but
Yeah.
never heard of him.
He's like this little he's blind. He's blind, but he used to go into, I guess, NCs, and I guess that Lycan followed him there, or was because he used to troll him all the time. He's the one who's in a lot of his cartoons too, his older cartoons. Like Demon Preacher, that's RJ. That's who that cartoon's made after, is RJ Sandifer. Um
But
and
he's
go ahead.
no, I was going to say. I mean, I don't. I mean, originally when he,
Yeah.
because when I first came in, I didn't even know lives were a thing,
Mhm.
and I first started watching Melissa Jade,
Yeah.
and then it went on to Holly, and then the DeLorean, and I think Jess, and Jess was into about 2 weeks. This was just over a year ago, I think,
Mhm.
before Jura came in and
Mhm.
Country Joe.
Mhm.
And then he turned up and he was perfectly fine with, Country Joe and
Yeah.
Jess. And he went on panels, I think, with Natasha as well.
Mhm. But then
And then
Natasha didn't like him, like, she rejected him, and he had just this vendetta against her after that, and,
do you do you think that's followed on with? Is it a thing of trust with him? Because he seems to, if somebody pulls away from him, that's it. He goes
mhm,
straight for the juggler.
he does. Exactly, like, that's exactly it. If you show any sign of going against him, he goes into full attack mode on you. I mean, like, look what he did to Jess, like, it was, like, full on attack mode once he started going at her, and, um and so then he was going at her and Natasha and Country Joe, and it was like, Are you gonna have this much stamina, buddy? Like, how are you gonna come into a community and just suddenly start fighting with everybody? You know, like, how does that work? How do you become part of the community if everybody is fighting you? But somehow he did it, and I still don't understand it. Other than it's like loyalties seem to shift a lot around here. Like one day someone will be like a staunch supporter of this person, and then the next thing you know, they no longer like that person and they're over in someone else. And that's what I want to get away from. Like, I want to be able to go wherever I want and speak to whomever I want and it not be an issue, you know? That's why I'm trying not to pick sides. I just want I want mostly the only person I'm interested in and having beef with at this point is him and Sarah, because him and Sarah are the ones who have caused me nonstop drama since I decided I didn't want to be part of their little team anymore. Like after he read those diary pages, me and him got into it really bad over that
Yeah,
because I just couldn't support that at all. That's not to
because I
me.
know he. I mean, I know he. Sorry,
I'll
I
go
know
ahead.
he apologized to NC over what was what he leaked.
Yeah,
But do you think his apology was actually um what's the
sincere.
word? Sincere? Yeah.
No,
No.
absolutely not. 100% no. Because he has since then done more uh, videos about And his excuse, his justification for that was, well, I just discussed what was written in it. I didn't show the pages. Okay, moot point, in my opinion. The fact that you would even use anything that you gleaned from those diary pages as a weapon is shitty. That's a shitty thing to do. Don't involve that little girl didn't have anything to do with any of this. Like, you know what I mean? Like it made me look at him totally different because I am a mother, and I have daughters, and I couldn't imagine somebody doing that to one of my daughters. That would have devastated them, especially at the age that she was. Like, come on, dude. You don't have to be just because you have something and you have a way to do it. I mean, don't you need to stop at the end of the day and ask yourself, is this moral? Is this the
Because I mean,
morally right thing to do? You know?
yeah, because he seems to have an on and off switch. He can apologise and seem sincere,
Mhm.
and then the next day he's attacking someone else.
Yeah. And
It's a very strange thing.
well, I always heard that when you apologize, if you like if I were to say, "I'm sorry for hurting you, but you made me do it." Like that negates everything you say before the word but, which means you didn't really mean that apology. You were just saying what you think I wanted to hear, but then you're going to tell me how I wronged you, so you were justified in hurting me that way. And that's how he apologizes, if you guys ever notice. It's like there's never any sincerity. Um I don't
Did
think he
he?
Go
Oh,
ahead.
go on. No, go on. Finish what you were going
Oh,
to
I
say.
was just going to say I don't think he has a sincere bone in his body, to be honest.
Did he ever mention? I mean, you said you were surprised he was online dating Jess.
Mhm.
Did he ever? I mean, after they obviously he was still, I imagine, still friendly on friends terms with him at this point.
Mhm.
But did he ever mention what he was gonna? Was he gonna gun for her, or did he
Oh
ever?
yeah. He would come to me for advice all the time. And he would come to me and ask me, or he'd be like, "Well, this is what she said to me. How should I interpret this?" Because he's really bad at human emotion. Um, really bad at it, you guys. Um, like he would come to me and have me when he would need to do like some kind of thing where he needed to sound sincere. He would have me write up like talking points for him, like, or we would go over things to say, to make it sound like he was meaning it. And a lot of the times I wouldn't know what, like he would get a hold of me or message me and I'd be like, hey, what do you think of this situation? And I would give my opinion. Well, then later that night I would hear him basically regurgitate my opinion of the situation. And I'd be like, wait a minute, that's not how you felt earlier today when we talked about it. That's how I felt, you know? So it's like he would go to people that he knew had a moral compass to discuss important issues with, and then he would like rephrase it himself later, I guess to sound more sincere, or that those were really what his feelings were when they really weren't. I mean, they just weren't.
Do you think the feud between them will ever stop? Will he ever actually stop attacking her, or will he just get to a point to try and push her off YouTube?
I don't think he'll ever stop as long as he's getting paid. As long as he's getting those donations talking about her, he will never stop. I mean, look how long he's been doing streams on that on Coach Eli,
Oh yes, yeah.
you know? And as long as he's getting even a 50-cent donation, he will continue it. Even if he's sick to death of it.
Yeah, because I think he went after Eli. Was it something he posted? Eli posted something on Reddit, I think, and I think like her boy was he was friends with this lass that he's had on a few times. I think her name's Is it Ari?
Oh yeah, that all in with Ari. chick,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, you
Uh,
notice that his content on her quit because people have she's not the, like, her 15 minutes of fame or whatever are pretty much out because people busted her, out for not really being homeless or something is what I heard, which I'll be honest, I haven't really kept up with her story. Um, but yeah, you
well,
notice how he was doing streams about her all the time? I have a feeling that this is what's gonna happen. And you guys, it's already started if you pay attention. I think he's gonna start going after people that Tiffany wants him to go after from her old communities. I think that's part of what she's been doing is weaponizing him against her enemies because he is a good troll. Um, but because there are no holds barred with him. He may pretend to have things that he will not do or will not say and doesn't want around his channel, but I know better because I've been around for years and I've seen him do everything now that he claims he doesn't condone. I have seen him do in the past. And you got to remember, like, I was there when he lost everybody. And he would do streams, and there would be 2 or 3 people in the chats. That was it. Like, he was basically done out here.
that's why he was going on panels like Jess's to start with, and then he was going on Country Joe's. He was pinching the audience.
Exactly. And that was his plan. And I've even released, well, that was on the channel of mine that he took down with false copyright strikes. I had released screenshots where he came to me and basically told me, "Hey, I want to be able to break stuff off with Jess, but I don't want her audience to hate me and turn against me. So I need you to help me come up with some things to say so that I can maintain like my, they won't think I'm hurting her or being mean to her, and they won't unsub from me." Um,
I mean, he's got to be incredibly careful because you got to remember the majority of the audience
mhm,
on YouTube is primarily because it's an American company, is American.
mhm,
And I mean, and I've said this before, I think on a couple of panels, you're going to get somebody that he will piss off.
mhm.
Therefore, of course, your records are open in the States, unlike over here. I mean,
Yeah.
it's extremely difficult unless you know the local area where a person is. I mean, for example, I'm up in Glasgow.
Mhm.
Sagacious, for example, is in Yorkshire, which is down in England.
Right.
Now, unless I knew her actual home address and I was an absolute psycho, there'd be
Right.
no way of getting to her.
Yeah.
But I mean, of course, you can carry weapons and all sorts. I mean, he's only got to piss off the wrong person for say somebody in the audience, and he will, he could end up seriously injured or worse.
Mhm.
And I
Oh,
don't
and
think he
there have
realizes.
been there have been people that have pretty much told him, "I'm coming to your house and I'm beating your ass," several times. You know, and like that ODN guy, he was pretty much telling him, "I'm coming to your house," and Lycan was freaking out that whole night. He was on the phone with me and showed me, like, sent me a picture of himself holding his gun, pointing at his front door. That's how freaked out he was. You know, and I mean, yeah, there's been all kinds of people over the years that have wanted to lay their hands on that man. Um, but it seems like he always tries to attack the women, always. And it's like there's just a few men that have come across it and have been upset enough by it that they decided, I'm going to go whoop this boy's ass, basically. Um,
Well, you could get either sex going after him. That's the thing.
hmm yeah,
But
it's, I don't know. He's just, I can't believe no one has, honestly, done something to him yet. I
but
mean,
Mind
Yeah.
you, is it worth it? I mean, you get easily whole life sentences over there. That's the only thing.
Right. I wouldn't think it would be worth it, but there's all kinds of people out here on I mean, if you yeah, like you said, like you're in Glasgow, I'm in Ohio in this little hick town with like one red light, So you can just that's just two people on this platform. Imagine how many different personalities are out here. And we all know that there's different mental stabilities out here,
Oh
you
yes.
you know? So what might not be worth it to you or I might just be worth it to someone else. And that's why he needs to be very careful about who he harasses on here. Because I've noticed that he tends to go after people really hard that he deems as mentally inferior. And that can backfire on you. That can backfire. Um, I don't see that as a challenge personally. Why go after someone that you already know is not going to be able to come at you as hard as you can go at them? Seems like you're rigging the fight, you know? But
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a terrible person, you guys. Like I just shared a short on my page where I had actual audio of him and Sarah and Raleigh Jones from LifeWorks Drunk. Raleigh's the one who released it. It was them trying to make a deal, right?
Yeah.
Sarah told Raleigh, I will give you $400 if you can get video of one of her enemies, some woman that she hates, doing naughty things with a carrot on video for her to use for content. Yeah. I mean, that's if that ain't going real life, I don't know what is. Number one. Um, Number two, that's the kind of things that these people do. So when I tell you guys that, like, there is nothing that they will not do to try to hurt someone, I'm not lying. To the point of offering someone money to get someone to make like vegetable porn for them to use for content against them. Like that's twisted to me. That is twisted to me. My mind doesn't go to places like that, you know?
No, you've got quite a sweet innocent mind, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, what person just automatically thinks, hey, you know what? I don't like that chick. I'm gonna ask this guy. I'm gonna see if I give him some money, if he'll start a fake relationship with her and get her to do things on video, and just so I can use them for content on YouTube. What? I don't get it. I just don't. I don't understand how that works.
How far though? Knowing that they do a lot behind the scenes, I mean, how far do you think they could do to damage, say, anyone's reputation, including yours?
Well, look what they have done to mine.
I
Like
know
I,
they,
yeah.
I know they've taken your channel down. They
And they have turned like
text.
basically everyone against me that was supposed to be my friend or my supporter. Um, and the thing is that most of it was all because see, I was very, very verbally abused growing up to the point where like I have PTSD from it, and I have really bad issues with standing up for myself. And um, when I do stand up for myself, it's usually because I've gotten to the point where I'm angry or so hurt that it comes out as anger because I can't find my voice until something like kind of snaps in me. And it's a defense mechanism at that point. So it's not coherent and it's not like it just comes from like a place where a little kid would fight back finally. So it's not a lot of people take it as, oh, she's just crazy or she's just talking out of her head. And it's not that. That's part of my PTSD is that it's hard for me to stand up for myself. It's hard for me to find my voice sometimes,
But do you?
especially if
Um,
I'm like,
Yeah.
under pressure, you know?
But do you, when you're starting to feel the stress, do you just let it build up and then snap? Or do you just
Mm.
voice your say a concern or anything there and then?
I try. Like, if you paid attention, like, on that video this morning that I shared from May,
Mm,
I was trying to tell him things that bothered me in a calm way, in a way that he would understand, to try to keep the peace, sorta.
yeah.
Um, but it's like he was just blowing me off and being a smart ass and saying that he understood and coming close to apologizing, but not quite apologizing. It was all part of his manipulation of me, and I can see that better now. It's like he would tell me what I he needed to tell me in order to keep me in line. And it got worse and worse. The more that people started watching my channel and liking me, and these same people that like me hated him, and it was like the more that people liked me, the more he didn't. And instead of just being my friend and being happy for me, you know, it was like he saw me as a threat to him somehow that needed to be eliminated. And that's basically what he's went about doing. And I've made really poor choices that let him get me to this point, but in my defense, I thought he was a human. I thought he was like an actual human, and it took me a while to realize he's not. He's just pretending to be a human.
I think I mean, he's very good at
Mhm.
excuse me, hoodwinking,
He
because
is.
like I said, he was perfectly when he came into the I mean this into grammar. I mean, he used to be on everyone's panel. He used to speak perfectly fine and whatever, and then he just suddenly changed overnight and started attacking a lot of the creators, especially
Yeah.
when with especially with Jess.
Mhm.
I mean, that saga's been going on for what, 5, 6 months?
Yeah.
I thought he would have run out of things to say about her, to be honest, by now. But I suppose if you, I imagine if you're behind the scenes with someone, half the time they're constantly saying to you to just egg you on a bit.
Mhm. Yes, and he did that a lot with me. A lot of the reason why I originally started going at her was because I was being fed this narrative that he couldn't defend himself because she had so much blackmail on him that he couldn't speak up for himself. And like, I'm really protective of people I consider my friends, and I felt like it was my job to speak up. And now it's like everybody that I did that for, that I was trying to defend, one by one has turned on me. And now I just feel stupid for ever putting myself out there and trying to defend people who couldn't give a shit about me in reality. You know, like, they used me. They used me as a weapon, and I didn't see it till it was too late.
Is it? Would you say though it's more of a fear of if they didn't turn against you, they would be
Mhm.
the next victims?
Yes, I know a lot of them are like that. Um, it's an echo chamber over there. And if you speak up or don't go with the status quo, oh yeah, you're at risk of being ostracized and attacked like I have been. Um, that's why some people just go away. They just have to quit coming here altogether. Um, it's because they're so scared of what him and his Lycan Legion will do. Um, I don't know if you heard the threat I got against me the other night. The guy that threatened to drive to my house and end my life.
Oh yes, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
That
I
used
saw
to
the vid.
be one of my closest friends on here.
But
So
what was the thing with his wife though? Because I
this
know there
is
was.
what happened. Paul was messaging me during that stream, and this was on the channel that was taken down. right? So he kept messaging me because I was doing a stream revealing stuff about Lycan and Sarah that they didn't like. They didn't like me putting out my opinion of them. Okay. So Paul starts messaging me and he's like, "You don't even have any friends. Everyone left you in the mud. Nobody likes you anymore. You need to just quit YouTube and you've lost and this and that." And I'm like, "Oh, whatever. I've got friends." Um, and he was like, "Yeah, I do too. And they're paying for my hotel room." And he started talking about how they were paying for his hotel room because he was staying out of town so that his sick wife could get test run. I have never once spoke any bad words about his wife because she suffers from the same thing that my mom did. And I know what is going to happen and I know what her and him are going to go through in the next few years, and my heart goes out to them. And all I've ever done on the subject of his wife is try to give him advice from someone who walked in his shoes and saw what I saw, and ways that he could help her because she has like dementia, and I
Yeah.
know I know how that is. Like I lived that
Mm.
for 5 years with my mom, and I never ever ever in a million years would say anything bad about his wife, ever, ever. So while I was on my stream, he brought that up and just would not quit messaging me, just being really mean and hateful to me. So I knew he was watching me. And I said, "Paul, why don't you worry about your wife and not me? Quit worrying about what I'm doing." That is what I said. That was in no way, shape, or form talking badly about his wife.
But
You
is
know,
this Paul? I mean, is this Paul capable of doing a lot more than just threatening?
I mean, yeah, and he doesn't live too far from me. And yes, he is very volatile. But do I think that Paul would come down here and hurt me? No, but I think that's only because he couldn't afford the ride down here. Number one, and number two, because it is like a 3-4 hour drive between us. I mean, we live fairly close. That by the time he got here, he would have calmed down. And number three, if he were to ever come on my property, like I live in a really small town and it's like really clannish, um, and I live where I live. I've got lots of family members right here beside me, like steps away. It wouldn't end well for him if he were to come here and try to hurt me. It wouldn't end well for him because where I live, if you come on someone's property with the intention to harm them, they have every right to defend themselves. So,
Stanley ground walls, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I've
yep,
heard about that. I wish we had it over here.
yeah. So I wouldn't advise that he do that, but the fact remains he threatened it, and it did scare me and shocked me, and I couldn't believe that he had just done that when we were such good friends, you know. And do you guys know what? Yesterday, actually, he came to my live and was wanting me to call him. And then he sent me a message saying, call me. I'm done with Sarah and Jamie. I'm done with YouTube altogether." So I don't know what's going on, but obviously something has happened. And I don't even care to know. Like, I don't need people like that in my life. You don't get to threaten my life and then think that we're going to be friends a week later.
Yeah.
You know, I can't. That's unacceptable. Oh, yeah, 71. I don't need someone like that in my life. Um, I would never have done that to him in a million years, you know?
So so from now on? So what do you plan? I mean, if you can get your channel back, what do you
Hmm.
plan to do with it? Do you plan to with it to show everything from about those two, or
Well, no, like, and that's what sucks so bad is that I was wanting to just, like, because I am going through a divorce. I'm going through like the whole empty nest thing where all my kids are grown and on their own and stuff, and they don't need me like they used to.
I
And
know
I'm
the feeling?
yeah, and I'm dealing with the loss of both my parents. within 2 years of each other, and I was their caretaker, so that's a lot too, and I wanted to do a channel where I could talk about stuff like that and the issues that, we face as getting to an age where you're on your own again after you've been part of this family unit where you had all these responsibilities. When all of a sudden all those responsibilities are gone, what do you do? Where do you go? And that's why I'd initially named my channel Scotty Figures It Out, because I felt like I was at a point in my life where I needed to find a new way, a new path, a new meaning, purpose, and that's what I had wanted to originally do. Um,
Yeah,
and
that's a
I,
good idea, Sullivan.
yeah, yeah, and well, see, the thing with going on vacation is that I'm in the middle of a nasty divorce. Um, so I can't. I have court dates and expenses and all
Yeah,
this crap that I didn't plan on at this age. And that's actually going really well. We have our first hearing Monday, so I'm hoping that it goes good. He took my dog and gave her away to someone, and I just found that out
yeah,
um, a couple of days ago, and I'm heartbroken. And I'm gonna see if I can't get them to agree to at least give her back Monday. Um,
well, I imagine if they refuse to give it back, I mean, I imagine you can arrange some sort of going down to see the pup or the cat.
yeah. Oh, see, that's the thing is she was originally listed in the divorce as a item of contention because they consider her property, which I hate even saying that, but they do. The courts see her as property because she is like a licensed registered dog with papers.
Hmm.
Um, so that's considered property. The fact that he gave her to somebody else is actually going to put him in contempt because she was listed as one of the marital property items. So I'm hoping that by the fact that he did that when she was listed, that the judge can tell him, listen, you have so many days to get the dog back in your possession. Um,
Yeah, I
keep
mean,
your fingers crossed. And I have been, like tonight, I'm actually going out with a friend of mine to listen to a band. Like it's like a Halloween themed party. There's like going to be a band playing, and I think that'll be fun. And it's doing something away from YouTube that I think it'll be fun. And I mean, it's been so many years since I went to like a Halloween party. I'm kind of excited for it. And
yeah, that's what I was going to ask actually. Because I mean, we've been on for over an hour. I didn't want to keep you on too long in case you had to rush and get ready and
yeah,
get your get your gear on and go out.
yeah,
But
get my makeup and stuff done. But yeah, I mean that's what I would like to do is take my channel in a direction where it's more positive. I'm so sick of all this negative energy, and it's just I know as long as I'm associated with anything to do with him, that's going to put this negative energy cloud over me, and I just want to be away from it, and I don't want people thinking I'm this terrible person that they're making me out to be because I'm really not. I always had good intentions, even if it didn't come out right, you know. And
yeah, well, I mean, we all know. I mean, we all know now. I
mhm,
mean, we didn't know then, but I mean, when he was going around all the panels and that. But I mean, we all know now he's a bit of an asshole and
mhm.
sounds like a control freak.
Oh yeah,
But I mean, you sound like a decent ordinary, and you try and get your story out there, which is a good thing. I
yeah,
mean, I mean, when I go up on panel with Sagacious, I mean, we just talk.
Yeah.
like the news or bits and pieces, and that's a safe place.
Yeah.
My channel's a safe place when I go on a live. Ginger's is a safe place. Country Joe's, Jura's, and obviously Jess's as well.
Yeah.
Is a safe place. So it might be worth just hanging around with us. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone
And I would
here
love
on
to
that
be
phone.
able to do that, just to go on a panel and have fun and it not have to be talking bad about people like all the time or feeling like I have to defend myself. Like I would love that to just be able to sit and talk about like the news or the weather or what's going on in our lives. That's kind of what I wanted to do in the first place when I started a channel was just be able to talk about stuff that you found relevant that day, you know? So I thank you so much for, you know, offering me a place to go that can be chill and I don't have to worry, Just all I would ask is you guys don't take anything that they say at face value because they are so sneaky and underhanded. That's why I'm just trying to put out little pieces of what I can to show people like don't listen to what they say because they will actually hire people to get evidence against somebody to manipulate them into get doing what they want. Like they're not good people. They're just
Right.
not. So just beware. Beware. You know, don't get burned like I did, guys. Don't um don't fall for his bullshit, I guess, is what the message I really want to get out there. Um, let me be the last person that he hurts, you know, which I know that's not going to happen, but that would be my dream. Like, that would be my goal. If I could have a goal, was to be the last person that he has power over to hurt like that.
I've only got a few more questions to ask, and then I can let you go and get
Okay.
sorted out. What would you say to anyone? I mean, I mean any does anyone from Lycan's chat actually still talk to you, or have they just completely turned against you?
All of them have turned against me, basically. Paul was, like I said, he still tries to reach out, which is really twisted. Um, A lot of them did it first secretly, but I do know, even though he thinks he's this all powerful guy, there are several people in his fold who have had enough, who have seen the way that he's treated people like me and others who have went against him, who are actively campaigning against him and who are behind some of these accounts that are coming out with all this evidence against him. So the echo chamber is not giving him the same echo it used to. I will say that. Um,
Yeah, it's happening to a couple of creators that are a bit of how can I put it politely, assholey, shall I say?
mm-hmm.
But if you could say anything to them that if they're scared to actually to pull away and maybe go to other creators, what would you say to them?
I would tell him just don't let him know anything about your personal life that they can use against you. Don't show them any of your weaknesses because they will definitely use that against you. And don't ever, ever, ever mistake them for being real humans because they are not. They are monsters pretending to be humans. I cannot stress that enough. Real people don't delight in hurting others, you know, and they do. They get off on it, you guys.
Yeah, that's quite important.
They're dangerous. I mean, that's what I would say. Protect yourself. If don't try to go straight at him like I did because I know what you'll go through, and I don't wish that on anybody. At the end of the day, just protect yourself.
Well, if one of the mods can get SKADI's URL code on a room, if you want to to sub to her, which is actually quite a good idea because if you see the vid she's got up on Lycan, then you'll fully understand what he actually is, what he
Mhm.
can be, and
Yeah.
that's being honest.
And
But
that's from you gotta think I was part of his inner circle, inner as close as it gets to this man. And I was who he claimed to be his best friend on here. And if he could do me this way, what do you think he could do for someone he didn't like from the beginning? You know? So,
well,
yeah.
well, I mean, look at what he did. Like you said, look at what he did to Eli and
Mhm.
Jess.
Yeah. And everybody, like he's a really shitty person. And I can't believe I ever fell for his trick, but I did. But I'm trying to make up for it now by warning as many people as I can, you know. If I can just keep one person from going through what I went through, it'll be worth it, you know.
I'll let me see if I can find your channel
Yeah,
link, and
I
I'll
can
pop
do
it in.
that. I can. Let me see. Let me go to.
I think I can
Mm,
beat
mm,
you to
mm,
it.
mm. Can you? I'm trying.
I got
Oh,
it.
okay. You got it. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'll have to.
All right. Cool.
Because I mean,
I'll be.
most of them are elderly that are in the chat. You see, and it takes some
Yeah.
time to do it.
Oh yeah. 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 But yeah, I
But
better get off here and start getting ready. So.
okay, well, thanks for coming up anyway.
Thanks for having me. It was great. It was great. Everyone have a great night. I'm gonna go get ready and for my Halloween party, and I'll try to pop back in the chat and hang out until and when you
Okay.
end it and stuff. But
Well, I'm going to
hey,
end it for you. So
okay, all right,
as soon as you drop down, I'll end it. So
okay, all right. Well, you guys have a great night, and thanks for having me. And um, it was great getting to know you.
yeah, you're welcome.
All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Later. Bye. Well, guys, that was Scotty. It's Scotty, not Scaddy, as I usually think of it when I see the spelling. But that's her story. Whether or not you believe it or not, she's had the guts to come up and say what that guy's really like. And you all know he's an absolute arsehole. You can see it when Jess has been attacked and when Country Joe's been attacked. So I'm going to end this broadcast. Thank you ever so much for popping in and supporting the stream. And thank you, Scotty, for coming up. And I'll try and go live. I'll arrange with just Sagacious when a time when we go live and have a chit chat. But for now, laters.